Hey everybody, what's happening? Neil Temple of Doom back once again from Pop Cultured with Silver Screen Sheen and team. Check us out on the radio at News Talk 1290 CJBK. That is a Bell Media station on iHeartRadio. And today I have another review for you, and it is the long delayed, by about a year now, Wonder Woman 1984. Yes, so Patty Jenkins' sequel to the smash hit from 2017, easily one of the best DC live action movies of all time, not just the last 10 years or so, and, some of them haven't been great. But this is actually the fourth movie that we get to see Gal Gadot portray Diana Prince, and this time the movie is set in 1984 in Washington, D.C., as Diana works as an anthropologist at the Smithsonian Institute. And Barbara Ann Minerva is a new character. She's a new employee at the Smithsonian. And she's very insecure. She's kind of nervous. She's envies Diana. She's very much a fan of Wonder Woman. And Kristen Wiig plays Minerva, and this character was actually British in the comic books, as I recall. So it's a very different taking, a very different origin, a very different Cheetah, let's say. Because this is a non-spoiler review, but if you don't know that Minerva is Cheetah, come on, even the trailers show that. So basically, the movie is, it's decent. It's pretty good. It's been hyped all year. The trailers they were so good. Oh my God, the two main trailers that we got, and then, the updated trailers and different versions of them. They're just edited so brilliantly. And this is really one of those movies that was just so hyped, and I was just hoping it was going to be this masterpiece of a movie. But there are some issues with it. It's not perfect. It does kind of fall apart in the third act a little bit. It's a little bit, truncated a bit at times in terms of what I think the story could have been, but the movie's long enough, at 2.5 hours, so you're definitely getting your money's worth in terms of the film, and the length and everything. But it is a bit overstuffed, it's kind of like an overloaded pizza pocket, it's it's loaded, and it feels like it really does burst by the final act. There isn't really as much character development naturally. We don't really need it when it comes to Diana and Steve Trevor, who's mysteriously back from the dead. It doesn't really take a genius to kind of figure out how he's back from the dead, or how likely it is, the reason that he's back from the dead, just from looking at the trailers. And you can pretty much guess it. So it's a very different story than the comics. We also have Max Lord here, played by Pedro Pascal, and the Mandalorian, and he is he's an effective villain. He's this really cocky, over the top piece of crap, human being who's really obviously arrogant and obsessed with this this MacGuffin called the Dream Stone, it's an interesting device where he has the power to basically, make your dreams come true. So if you dream something, then it will come true, I guess, depending on the situation. The rules to this are very iffy. And again, I don't want to take too much away. Max Lord was a very, very different character in the DC Comics. He helped form the Justice League post the Crisis on Infinite Earths in the late 80s. And he also, wound up turning out to be a bad guy who actually did some really devious things, like murdering Blue Beetle, Ted Cord, in this Countdown to Infinite Crisis storyline. And there's all this stuff in the comics that Max Lord does that has nothing to do with Wonder Woman 1984. So, Diane actually winds up killing him in the comic books. She snaps his neck. So yeah, he's a different character in this film, a different type of Max Lord. The story itself, involving the Dreamstone, it is interesting, but it's not perfect, and like I said, it does kind of crumble a bit near the end there. But I will point out the positives here. I think Kristen Wiig, she may have the best performance here as the woman who would become Cheetah. Yeah, the long famous rival of Wonder Woman in the comics. And it's just kind of unfortunate that the end is kind of disappointing in some ways. Some people, I'm sure, were expecting something a little different, a little bit more creative. But it's still worth the time. I'd say it's certainly worth watching once. Perhaps the movie has been overhyped, a bit too much. But yeah, I mean, it does work really well. It's gotten some mixed reviews, at least initially. But I think I'm gonna watch it a couple more times and just kind of see how I feel about it. I do prefer the first film, but this one had some great moments, especially in the first half, so it's a fun diversion. If a costly one, you may want to split the cost of renting it right now. I'm sure the price will go down later, but for right now, over the Boxing Day week and everything, it's yeah, it's a bit costly if it's just you watching it, but otherwise, I do think it is well worth it. So I'm going to give Wonder Woman 1984 a 7.5 out of 10. Alright guys, that's all for me, Neil Temple of Doom. Thanks so much for checking out this quick movie review, and until next time, peace.